Our next speaker is Toni Wellen. She's a little woman with a mighty purpose. That's what I call her. Toni is a resident of Carpinteria, yay, Carpinteria, and a practicing marriage family therapist since 1985. She's also specializes in hypnotherapy, which I kept reading as hydrotherapy, and I said, where's the pool? Toni was an elementary school teacher, primarily in Long Beach and the LA school system for 15 years. She's earned a bachelor's degree from UCLA, and do you have another one from UCI?
Yes.
2 BAs and a master's degree in psychology from Chapman University. Most importantly, Toni is the chair and co-founder of the Coalition Against Gun Violence, a Santa Barbara coalition with over 40 partnership organizations, including the League of Women Voters. Toni?
Thank you, Bev, and thank you to the League for this opportunity to talk to you about what I consider to be the most critical issue in front of the American people. I've been working at this for 20 years. I'm not deterred. I got into this struggle because of the issue of 30,000 plus people being killed. That's like a war within our own country. And today, as we sit here, there will be about 88 people will die from gun violence, and 8 of them will be children. And that happens every single day. The Coalition Against Gun Violence is your local grassroots nonprofit organization. We are bipartisan. Gun violence doesn't care what your party is. And we've been working on gun violence prevention education for 20 years. You will hear people talk about this. I have my Second Amendment rights. Okay, what are your Second Amendment rights? A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And the first 3 words are a well-regulated. We can regulate firearms. And the late Antonin Scalia said, this does not mean any gun, anywhere, anytime. In California, you may have a gun in your home for protection if you choose, but you may not carry that gun beyond your front porch unless you have a concealed weapons permit. Having your Second Amendment rights are regulated. We have a little 30-second PSA which we'd like to show at this time, which is about keeping a gun in your home.
Once upon a time, there was a happy family. A daddy, a mommy, 2 brothers, and a dog. One day, the brothers found their daddy's gun. Now, there's only 1 brother, and the family isn't happy anymore.
2 kids are murdered with handguns every day in our country, and 1/3 of those are shot and killed by other kids.
Guns, because real guns kill real people.
Okay, that's sufficient. There is a law in California called the Safe Storage Law, and it makes someone criminally liable if they negligently store or leave any firearm that is loaded on their premises where a child is likely to gain access to it. When children, all the school shootings except for Columbine were done by kids who got their guns from home. So we are trying to emphasize and get this out all over the state that if you choose to have a gun in your home and you have children, you must keep that gun unloaded, locked, and separate from the ammunition. The other thing that we ask people to do is ask Ask saves kids. I'll talk about this at the end of my little talk because that's something that the League could get involved in. Now, this year we are going to focus on mental health. The coalition is going to focus on educating about, because that's what usually happens. There's a shooting and they say, well, this was a disturbed person and we should do something about mental health. Yes, we should. And in our state, there is a law called Laura's Law that needs to be approved at each county. And so far, there have been 15 counties that have approved Laura's Law, and Santa Barbara is considering this. I hope we'll pass it. It's very critical. A small population, this is people who are very seriously mentally ill, and their condition is deteriorating. There are very strict rules about who can be under this law. They need treatment and they are then required to get treatment. The person would have to have 2 hospitalizations or incarcerations in the past 36 months. We call this the revolving door because these people are generally on the street and they are picked up by the police because we don't have the right treatment options for them. So Laura's Law is, I hope, going to be passed in Santa Barbara County. Also, as a response to the Isla Vista shooting, Assemblymember Doss Williams and Dickinson authored what is called the Firearms Restraining Order that is modeled on the state's domestic violence restraining order. And it is a legal tool that allows for the removal of firearms from individuals who are at risk. The family or law enforcement can, it's a process for obtaining a court order that will temporarily limit the individual's access to firearms if there are warning signs that they are a risk for violence to themselves or others. And the Pause for Safety Act that Lois talked about is the national effort. Now, we've got the law in California. In fact, we've got the best laws in California regarding gun violence prevention. Our Do Nothing Congress, there are several things that we, besides the Pause for Safety Act, we want them to close the gun show loophole, limit the size of ammunition clips. The Center for Disease Control, their funding was cut off during the Bush administration. And during the Bush administration, they also passed a law which eliminates liability for the gun manufacturers. And we want to change that. Now, we are all affected by gun violence, all of us. And there is something that can be passed out today, which is about what is the cost? What is the cost? It isn't just lives, even though there are, as I said, 88 people who are killed today and 30,000 plus every year. Now, since I've been doing this, since I have been working on this issue since 1994, there have been 420,000 people killed by guns, approximately. Now, in the Iraq War, as of May 2012, 4,425 Americans were killed. Now, you just have, when I said it's like a war in our country, in the Korean War, 3,000 Americans were killed. In the Vietnam War, 58,000 Americans were killed. So when I talk about this as an issue that we really need to pay attention to far more than we do, that's the reason why. But then there's an economic cost. This will really, only 1/3 of the people in this country own guns. There's 300 plus million guns in this country, owned by a third of Americans. However, there is an economic cost, and that cost, you will be surprised to learn, comes from your tax dollars, $100 billion to $126 billion. Who pays for the emergency room, for the defense lawyer, for the ambulance? You do. You're paying to clean up the blood that's on the street with your tax dollars. And if you want to know more about that, there's this is part of what we do in education. So we are all affected by gun violence. Has anybody in this room know anybody or have been personally affected by someone who's been killed by a gun? Look at that. Look at all those hands. Now, California has the best gun laws in the nation, and they work. In 2012, the firearm mortality rate for the country was 10.4 per 100,000, and it went up in a year to 10.7. In contrast, in California's rate was 7.6 per 100,000, and it has remained the same. That's because since 1990, we have passed 50 gun violence prevention laws that are working. And if you want to know more about that, here is a flyer that will tell you where to look, and it'll tell you where to look and how to find out what the laws are in this country. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will tell you that this year we're working on 6 gun violence prevention laws. Now, what we hear about gun violence is usually mass shootings, like what happened in San Bernardino, Sandy Hook, Isla Vista. But the majority of shootings are suicides. Over 50% are suicides, and these are older white men. You think that the violence that happens with guns is possibly gang violence. No, it isn't. Domestic violence is a far greater problem. And there's something that is called family annihilation. That is when the shooter, generally a male, shoots the children and the wife. And that is unfortunately something that happens 16 to 20 times a year. I've got all the data here. What you can do as an individual. This is a card that we pass out every time we speak. It's in English and Spanish. And these cards are here for you to take. And I have it, you put it on your refrigerator. And the first thing that it says is, I will help my family to find ways to resolve conflict without anger or violence. And one of the things you need to do is be informed. Visit our website, www.sb.coalition.org. And I want you to know that I am always available to speak, to talk about this issue. When I said the League could do something, this program, which is ASK, is a national program. Asking Saves Kids. And it can be, it has never been utilized in Santa Barbara, in the city of Santa Barbara. So our parents and our kids are missing out. And this program can be something that the League could do for the community. And I suggest that you do that, and I have the information. So thank you very much. There's something we forgot to talk about, to do. There's a YouTube video, which you should take a look at here. very powerful.
It's not alive. So the door comes in.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Hi.
You're interested in a gun, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool. You looking for something for what, target practice or?
Protection?
More for just protection.
Just safety. I'm pro Second Amendment, you know, so it's like, it's kind of hard to find that around in New York City, you know? It's
Like I was showing your wife, you know, the first gun I showed her was this revolver. It's the easiest gun we have to use. It's, you know, it's our most popular one. It's this 22 caliber 6-inch revolver. It's also a gun that a 5-year-old found in his parents' bedroom, went down and shot his 9-month-old baby brother with it.
When it says shooter, 5-year-old kid, dead one, what does that mean?
That's the history.
This is
of
the
it.
gun that the guy
That's
shot.
the gun.
This is the one? This is the one that the kid used? Holy
Can't take this shit back after you do it.
This is a 9mm semi-automatic. It's a very handy gun. It's easy to use. Carry it in a purse like that gal from the Walmart. 2-year-old son reaches into her pocketbook, pulls it out, shoots her. Dead, gone, no mom. Collectors love this one. Adam Lanza's mom had this in her collection too. Till he took this and several other guns and killed her. Then went down to Sandy Hook, killed 6 teachers and 20 innocent children. 20 little kids, gone, like that. He walked into a McDonald's in San Diego, killed 21 and injured 19. It's one of the deadliest mass shootings in American history. They thought, ironically, that they were protecting their 9-month-old. She thought she was protecting her 2-year-old. 9mm semi-automatic, 40 caliber compact, 45 caliber, 9mm submachine gun, 12 gauge pump action shotgun. Why don't you have a closer look?
I was pretty blindsided by just the entire history of every gun in the store.
And it made me actually think I'm not gonna buy that gun.
It made me think twice, and I would not buy one.
It is one of our rights, but my opinion has definitely changed. I don't feel safe with the gun.
You don't want to be the Walmart case.
That's States United is one of the organizations nationally that educates people, and this is very powerful. Every gun in that store was used as in a killing, and the people got to learn why they shouldn't buy a gun. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's pretty powerful, isn't it?